What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, here joined by Jordan RIZ and Ron. Ron's Crypto Therapy. What's going on, fellas? This is No Bull, episode 4. How you all doing?
Woo! I'm really
What's
well.
going on, Danny? Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome. My first time on here, so thanks so much. It's really I love these shows. I
I
really
love the
enjoy
roundtables.
discussion. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so good.
and this is the first time I've streamed with Ron at least maybe a few times, and
Yeah.
oftentimes we talk about OMI, we talk about alts and things like that. So we're going to get into some alts later because I know that's kind of Ron's sweet spot. He does a ton of research. Jordan has also been loading up on a bunch of alts over the last couple months. Jordan's known as like an OMI whale and for holding a ton of OMI, but you also have a lot of other stuff in your portfolio. So we'll talk about that stuff. I want to start with a question for Ron. You made a recent video on OMI that I thought was really well done. I liked it because your perspective came from like how you do research and how you approach things from the bottom up and gathering information. And you kind of looked at the project with a fresh set of eyes. So if people are unfamiliar, why don't you kind of like talk about what you saw when you took that approach?
Yeah, thanks, Danny. And I was glad that the video was pretty well received. Even in comments on Twitter, I didn't really get too much negative feedback. Everybody seemed to understand kind of where I was coming from because the video is not supposed to be FUD. I mean, I have a lot of friends that have OMI. I'm not FUDding the project, but I tell you what it was that kind of led me to make the video. Hey, what's up, John? I talked to him a little bit ago. He said he was going to tune in. John's Crypto Therapy down there. But I would see these threads on Twitter with all these people saying that they only had OMI, like they were all in on OMI. They're like, and my perspective, I think we're, in a earlier phases of a bull run. So, and all these people saying that only OMI, all in on OMI. And, that's concerning because I think that the OMI and VV community, it's a good-hearted community, more or less. I know there's a lot of toxicity out there, but I think the people, like most of the people, are good people. And I don't want to see them. They've been through enough, and I don't see them get hurt. It's not that I think you should sell it on OMI and that it's shit or anything like that, but you look at it with like I would assess other projects, and I can't justify putting new money. I can't even justify holding it at all. I don't have any OMI, and I understand it's very emotional and the reasons behind it and the IP. I've been in it for a long time too, and there's something called the sunken cost fallacy. And it's not, we all deal with it. It's like an emotional concept or whatever. Like you can't be immune to it. You can only be aware of it. And we can talk about it a little bit later, but it's basically people have a harder time letting go of things that they're down on, or even relationships and things like that. I got a video pulled up later on if you want to like play a couple of minutes of it. But that's what people are dealing with OMI a lot of the times. And like I said, I don't think it's bad, but just when I look at the numbers and comparisons and everything like that, and I just can't justify OMI anymore, IP or not. And the IP, I think.
How do you respond to that, man? You're a big OMI guy, right?
So I actually last year I held 100% OMI. So I was that guy. I was the 100% OMI guy. What's funny is talking to Danny and Crypto Rain and Dr. Stuff and a few of the others, they sort of managed to convince me to diversify a bit, which I think was a good move. And I sold a couple of my brands earlier this year, and I actually diversified a lot. So now I'm 50% OMI, 50% a bunch of others. And what's crazy is OMI went down for me, it's gone down like 60,000 the last like month. And all my other cryptos have actually gone up about the same. So I'm sort of breaking even at the moment. And I'm seeing the good thing of having diversification. But like I still 100% believe in OMI, but I do believe that if they, it may not do the numbers we thought it would do. Like my price prediction for the end of the year, I don't know if that's going to happen now. I've only got like a month and a half. Oh, not even, yeah, not long left, month and a half. And I wanted to see it at 0.006, which is was easily possible, but they're just moving even slower than I expected. And I was putting a bit of extra room for them to move, right? So, but we also know that last crypto run, they went from 4 zeros to 1 0 in only 40 days. So if they line everything up and they really play it right, I believe they could do some crazy stuff. And maybe we could see 1 cent, 2 cent OMI, maybe even 3 cents if we're really lucky. But yeah, I do understand the concern that everyone has, and the odds that it does the numbers we think it's going to do is declining sort of each quarter that we don't get what we thought we were going to get. So yeah, I fully understand anyone who wants to sell OMI. That's totally up to you. It's, you know, we don't have any financial advice here. This is just our thoughts and what we're doing. And for me, I'm still holding over 200 million OMI. And I did have 220 million OMI. I had to sell just a little bit just for living expenses. And that was nothing to do with OMI really. That was just, I had to sell something, and that's my biggest holding. So it was easy to sell just a tiny bit of that, literally just to pay the bills. But I won't be selling anymore until OMI starts to fly next year. So let's wait and see what happens. Hey, Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You know, I often think about sunken cost fallacy, right? And that's what Ron was describing, where, you know, you continuously just buy the dip, because you don't want to let go, right? You think it's going to come back. So it's like there's a fine line between buying the dip and then sunken cost fallacy. I think what we're seeing in the markets right now, what we've seen over the last year really, is that the market started to recover. The crypto market started to recover. OMI kind of laid flat at that 0005 range, and it was not recovering. But then it did recover in August, right, with the catalyst that they rolled out, the BV verse, and the first bit of utility. But since then, it's again gone backwards while the rest of the market went forward, and that kind of gives cause for concern, right? They really need to operate well and get their catalysts out if they're going, you know, if the coin is going to do well. So I think it does depend on their level of execution. Thus far, there's cause for concern, right? Because of the pace at which they move. But I do think that if they hit, you know, it can do well. The thing is that there are a bunch of coins that are going to do well because they're going to ride the narratives, right? OMI's it's not riding the narrative. Like right now, all my alts are flying just based off of the market movement. And OMI isn't really joining that because it's not on exchanges. There's no token awareness. Ron, tell us why, first of all, why you went sour on OMI. And then I want to get into both your bear and bull case. I know
yeah. So one of the things he pointed out, that how it went, you know, to dropped however many zeros in a period of time. That's kind of my point, is that things in their first market cycle will have the biggest gains. I mean, that's a fact. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm sure if you look hard enough, you can find some examples where that wasn't so. But I mean, 95+% of the time, things are going to have the biggest gain in the first market cycle. That's just what it is. And there's you know, I get people are scared of the news. What if this? What if that? You know, I think you know, the IPs they're attaching all this to, they're not what they used to be. They're having issues their own self. Disney and Marvel are disasters right now. And I understand they're big companies, but big companies, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, you can Google all kinds of Disney flops. Disney has all kinds of flops. Disney Plus recently. So, you know, things haven't, and I was really fair. I actually, you know, I battled Fudders in the comments on Twitter all bear market long about OMI. I was very fair to it. I compared it to ADA. I say, if you look at a weekly chart and looked at OMI and ADA side by side, it was almost identical. But then there comes a time, you know, it's very concerning. And when I look at things that have been out for a market cycle, I do look at like strength in the bear market, what it did in the bear market. And I definitely factor that in for sure. And it doesn't, you know, so OMI didn't show a lot of strength in the bear market. Man, that's okay. You know, it's something to factor in. It's not the be all end all. But then, you know, I posted ADA, I think it's about to break out of a long-term trend line, and it did and kept going. You know, I have to be objective in what I see with OMI. I don't like it on chart. I don't like it fundamentally. I don't like the team. The only thing that you can hang your hat on with OMI is that the what ifs. And I just feel there's easier ways to get there. And now if you love the project, you love the community, you believe in all this stuff, you like Marvel, hey, you know, whatever, do your thing, you know. but that's not really where I'm at. And people have this perception, if I just hold it for a long time, I'll be good. And that's not how this game in crypto works. And that's why I talked about Dragon Chain on the video. I mean, look at the fundamentals on Dragon Chain. It's like off the charts, and they started with Disney. And it's dead project. And I got, you can compare it to some other projects. It's not, I made a flop 10 video, like the 10 projects I dislike the worst. I mean, I ripped Gala and Shib apart. Only wasn't on that video.
But Only was not on that video. Yeah.
It's a lot of what ifs, and what ifs to IP that aren't even popular right now. I mean, I know they got a lot of different ones and stuff.
I have a little rebuttal on that because we just got Avatar. And Avatar's the first and third highest grossing movies of all time.
Avatar 2 was a big flop too.
It's still I thought that too. I didn't like the movie that much, but it's still the third highest grossing movie of all time. Do you know that? I found that yesterday.
I mean, there's definitely, like I said, Disney not going to go bankrupt, but well, a lot of these companies, they interject themselves politically, and I'm talking about politics or anything. I don't care. But when you do that, you're going to isolate a certain percentage of the market already. And then Marvel and Disney especially have kind of doubled down on their political views. So that's another strike. It's just so many red flags with it. And then the things with the on-chain things that people have pointed out, which I'm not even get into that too much, but there's just so many red flags for me that my money is better somewhere else. And if you think that you're going to hold OMI and in 10 years, it'll be this or that, I don't know. To this point, that's not how crypto has worked. So I wouldn't bet on that either. Like that, well, the crypto landscape will change.
Ron, I have a quick question. Is this your first full cycle?
No.
Like from bear to bull, or you were in the previous cycle as well, the 2017 one?
Mm-hmm.
Or the 2021 run? Well, how long have you been doing crypto for? That's something I don't know your history.
Yeah, I actually bought Bitcoin for the first time in 2010, I think. I didn't keep it. I actually bought it to use for something. And then I was in 2017, and I was having a lot of personal issues. I couldn't follow it like I wanted to at the time, but that's when I had got into it, and I stayed. So it was, I would say, to be fair, let's say I was all in from 2019 on, from like that bear market rally.
Same for me. Because I mined Bitcoin in 2014. I used to mine it, and I used to sell it for like $200 to $300.
Yeah, and I got it like 2010 when it was like really, really cheap.
Yeah, that would be like $1 each.
I actually used it for something.
Less than $1 in the cents range for Bitcoin.
I think, it was so long ago, but I think it was in the cent. It was 2010. It may have even been late 2009, based on the house that I know I lived at the time. But yeah, it was in the inception.
I know what you used it for, Silk Road.
Yeah.
My friend, he probably has some wallets hanging out with hundreds of Bitcoin in them. I don't know. I'm sure he's lost them. Have you worked out how much you think of Bitcoin is lost? Because I've heard it's something like 5 million Bitcoin are lost forever.
I watch that sometimes because every now and then one of those zombie wallets will come back to life that's been thought to be dormant. So there's no telling. I've heard about a third, which is even more than what the number you just said. I don't think they can really know, but there's definitely been several million lost for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you said that you were coming out with a more bullish video or for OMI. What would that entail?
I said I would bring up. Were you talking to me or Jordan?
Thesis, correct.
Say again.
No, Ron. You had said that you were working on a video.
I said I would do I would look at positives and negatives, but then doing the live stream, I posted on Twitter like this would kind of suffice as any other thoughts that I have on OMI. Because like Dino Floors NFTs pointed out, you kind of did a pretty thorough look into it, posted about it a lot, give us some more projects. So I think I'm going to focus on playable games, the Bull token. I'm going to do a deeper dive on that. That's a really, really promising project.
Yeah. So Jordan, go ahead.
I really like gaming coins. I think that is the future. Like I'm a bit of a computer gamer. I used to play hundreds, thousands of hours of computer games. And I believe that's one of the best use cases for crypto is having like a token ecosystem that works really well. And you can own your skins as NFTs or something like that, where you get more ownership and they also have a token attached around it. I think that could do really, really well.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at, and I have all off cycle long, looking for gaming to be the big gains this cycle. And definitely, if something was in the gaming sector, I put a kind of a star by it and be a little more cognizant of it.
Yeah. Jordan, you have gaming tokens. Yeah. What do you hold? Miria?
Yeah, Mirio is my 5th or 6th biggest holding now. Yeah, it's done really, really well. I'm up 75% so far, and yeah, I'm really enjoying all the gaming tokens are awesome. I'm not that into Gala. I think you also said, Ron, you're not into Gala either.
No, I think Gala is much worse than OMI.
Yeah. And I used to follow some YouTubers that only talked about Gala, and they had a lot of problems with the company, and so that put me really off it. So yeah, that's like I guess a marketing thing they stuffed up.
There's a lot of problems with Gala. I mean, the owner's in a riff. I think that's going to court. They had that debacle where all the Coinbase users lost their Gala. There's the tokenomics are bad. The market cap's bloated. If you check out their games, go to the website, look at the games, and then go to Twitter and look up those games. Gala, in my opinion, is pretty much smoke and mirrors. Like during the bull market, they paid a bunch of influencers like Snoop Dogg and Wendy O and people like that to promote them, and had a lot of flashy events, but it doesn't seem like much goes on there. I mean, when you compare that to like games for a living, look at the people playing their games, and they're like at a $30 million market cap, and Gala is like 10 times that. And I all bear market long, I kept my ear to the ground. I read Decrypt every morning. That's like a crypto news site. I do these things to stay plugged into the space. So when Games for a Living came out, when playable games came out, I was there from day one. I'm up over 1,000% on playable games. Games for a Living, probably 400%. Now, obviously, my whole bag I didn't put in at the inception, but I had, investments there from those times. And that's kind of the point of what I'm saying. Like, finding those projects, the people want the new stuff and everything like that. And that's where your biggest gains are going to be.
Yeah, and I think that's part of your perspective also, is you have a good view of the whole market. And so you're looking at all these small micro caps that are on their first run that are really likely to be the biggest winners of the next cycle, right? Whereas OMI is on its second cycle, has showed relative weakness compared to some of the others. Could still do well, but things kind of have to go right. And there are others.
I agree with everything you're saying. Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I don't think that it could do okay. It was based on a lot of ifs. And when I look at it technically, I don't think it's a slam dunk to get over 0.005 again. I'm not saying it won't for sure. I mean, you have to see how the candles unfold or whatever, but I do not think it's a slam dunk.
What if we got Coinbase and Binance in 1 week? You still think we wouldn't get over that?
Based off that, would it pump 10 times the price in 1 week? No. And I don't see those happening. Like the things that they say don't make sense. Like to be a coin this, and that is another red flag actually. That they've been out this long and not listed on some of those exchanges. I don't think they want to be listed on them. But I think I on the same hand, I think a little too much is made out of that. Gate.io is generally in the top 10 exchanges for volume. OKX is sometimes in the top 5. Bit4X has got up there in the top 10 before. So there's plenty of people on these platforms that is listed on. I think that the lack of listings is a little bit overdone.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, we managed to get to an all-time high last time, right? With even less exchanges. We didn't have OKX. I don't think we had Gate.io, and I don't think we had. Well, I mean, Uniswap was just listed and had very little liquidity.
I think it was on Bit4X and Gate.io. But the Uniswap listing, the week it was listed on Uniswap, that's when it had like the God candle, and that was one of the biggest candles of the whole bull market on any project.
Yeah.
And I pointed this out to people before. People talk about this license and that license and it make the price go up. I said after Disney and Marvel were announced, OMI couldn't make it back to all-time highs. When Bitcoin did, like when it had that summer bear market.
I mean, that was wasn't that during the like bear market?
No, so Bitcoin made its first all-time, well, after the cycle, first all-time high of the cycle, 64,000 I think it was in April 2021. And then price went down. You kind of had like a 3-month, people didn't really know what to call it, mini bear market, whatever. OMI was around 0.002 for most of that time. And that's when I was really buying a lot. I bought a whole lot. And I think a lot of people, that are in the community, we're doing that as well. So then it gets the run back up. Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, and that's kind of my point. OMI didn't, and it didn't even come that close, really.
I think a lot of alts weren't running though, right, Ron?
For sure. And then there was a real alt run like before the bull market like collapsed for sure, like early 2022, late 2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of alts going.
Yeah, OMI did run that. We got 008.
Yeah, but that's what it didn't get anywhere. It didn't get close to all-time high, and that was after the announcements for Disney and Marvel, because when it made the all-time high in that Uniswap listing, they didn't have those IPs.
I agree, but I also looked into the market cap, and actually we hit a higher market cap because more tokens were unlocked. So we actually hit an all-time high in that time period. If you look at it, early 2022, we actually had an all-time high market cap. So even though it's only
circulating supply, that's why I look at the circulating supply and factor all that in. And they
so technically, like that was the high is actually early 2022. It wasn't the original one if you look at market cap wise.
Yeah, well, market cap doesn't like, and that's why I factor in circulating supply. And it may have had a higher market cap, but you know the token didn't go up, and that's and that is like when I had that list of things that I look at, market cap's number one, circulating supply is number two.
That makes sense. Makes sense to me. And I really like your charting. I've watched you, like I said, on Danny's channel. I really enjoyed it. I think I might have caught some of your own streams as well. And so, yeah, it's really interesting. I've got a friend who's a full-time trader. And the world difference between like me as a hodler and him as a trader, it's very interesting to watch how we approach everything differently.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. Thanks for the compliment. I really appreciate that. And when I do this game, I look at it more like I'm sitting up at a card table, like I'm coming to play cards. That's a better way to look at it. And that's why you can't. Yeah. That's why you can't just read a book and say, you know, falling wedge, and you sell it. Like it doesn't work that easy. It's like how it is, where it is, what it looks like, all these factors. You know, if it was that easy, everyone would do it. Sell a rising wedge or falling wedge. You know, it doesn't work that easy. Trading's an art. It's a skill, and you know, I don't really use any indicators. I just read the candlesticks, trying to tell me what the psychology is saying. That's where I say it's more like playing cards to me than some kind of rigid, like if I follow these rules, everything work out. No, there is no set rule you can follow. I mean, there's trading strategies, but no trading strategy can work all the time. If it did, Bank of America would do it and take everyone's money with their billions of dollars or whatever. And then Citibank would see what was going on over there and they would do some kind of elaborate counter strategy trap or something like that. So, you know, you have to be flexible with the market for sure.
Ron, what's your give me a bear base bull case for OMI next cycle?
Hey, you know, the bull case, they come through with an exchange. They have some utility with the token, some more. And I know some people on Twitter are saying it has utility. You can stake it for the MCP points. I mean, I guess that's not much, but it is something.
Yeah,
it is something, but it needs to be integrated into the app. I actually think Vivi's biggest mistake was like going the MTL route. And I don't know exactly about such things, so I'm not trying to speak about things I don't know for sure. But, you know, based off of how many crypto exchanges have fiat on-ramps, it's not many, you know, but there's lots of crypto exchanges. So I would have had to have imagined the licensing to be like a crypto exchange or whatever, instead of handling fiat money, would have been easier. And if that was the case, man, OMI probably be 10 times what it is right now. Still, like it would have held that value through the bull market. And if it was integrated into the app, if they did all these things, I mean, I get the potential is there, but the timing is it has run out, in my opinion. And
well, it can't really be integrated into the app. You mean like on the web site? I mean, like in the app, it's like through Apple and Google and whatnot, and that's part of their whole onboarding is to make it simple for people.
If it was like you can move everything off the app, you can move like it was in the beginning, quite honestly, like you can move gems around. I mean, you couldn't take it out to fiat and change it to crypto. But if it operated like a crypto app, like, and OMI was the token that did everything on it, yeah, the potential is massive. But it's been out so many years and that's not happened. And I've been watching the AMAs for a while now, but it doesn't seem like that's what they want to happen. I don't see that really. And maybe I'm wrong. I hope it does do good, because I'm not somebody that's like pulling for it to go bad, so I'm validated. It's not that I'm saying it's bad. I'm just saying your money is probably better elsewhere. And if you're somebody that's all in, then I think you should really consider diversifying into some other small cap projects to at least, hedge your bet.
Yep. And I was going to ask you, do you believe that we're going to have a similar run this time as last time in terms of is 12 months to 18 months after is going to be the next peak for Bitcoin? Or do you think the spot ETFs are going to push that forward?
I mean, it's hard to kind of project out like that. I'm more of a price action trader. I like to look at the candlesticks and see what they're telling me. I do stuff like that for fun. There's not very many things that are leading indicators. You always hear like indicators are lagging. So a few of the things you can use as leading indicators, Fibonacci extension, pivot points, measured moves. There's not very many. So there's not a whole lot to look at to project. And when I looked at it compared to other market cap, other projects, when I said that I think that I would be a buyer at $30 to $50 million market cap for this project, a lot of people were like, no, that's crazy. Well, you also have to consider, I'm saying that I would be a buyer, like with all the research I do and the projects I point out, then I would stack it up to like, some of these other projects that I've rated high, not maybe as high as Playable Games and Games for a Living, but then it would be up there in like my top 15 or top 20, definitely top 5 probably for a project that was returning from the previous cycle.
And before we got on, we were talking about how many projects you're in. So you're in quite a few?
Yeah, I got at least a little bit in over 40 small caps. And I have a lot in probably 10 small caps. And then I got your Doges, your Links, Sol, Solana. I had decent bags of all that before this run up.
Yeah. So is just Solana your winner at the moment? Because Solana smashed for me. Is Solana your winner at the moment? Because Solana smashed for me.
I did buy some at $8, and I did DCA all the way up to 20. But I would say Playable Games. I'm up like 1,000% on that. I'm up pretty good on Mask too. I have a lot of Mask. Mask is kind of like my new project that I'm the most in, with a Q on the end, MASQ, and Danny's into it too. It's a privacy browser project that I think has massive potential.
I saw that one. I didn't really understand.
I bought more today.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a live stream with the founder next week, and we're going to be giving away $500 worth of Mask throughout the stream.
What day is that?
We haven't said it. It'll be next week, but it's still to be determined. We don't have an exact time and day yet, but it's happening, and we'll do $500 Mask giveaways. Got lots of questions to ask the founder. He's a real good guy.
Yeah, everyone. So follow Ron's Crypto Therapy. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's starting to pump out a lot of content on a lot of good alts. Great source of information, and definitely check out that Mask. Mask is one that I like also. When I started buying it, it was like a $6 million market cap or something.
Yeah, we were getting it because me and Danny, we've been running together all bear market long. He's seen those things that I've said, and he's definitely DCA'd the right projects during it. So yeah, it's about a $6 million market cap. So we're up well over 100% on what we've accumulated at lower levels on that project.
Yeah,
it's up pretty well.
Yeah. And
thanks for that, Maxwell. Appreciate you.
And thanks for the plug, Danny. And a few people said, it was Ron's Crypto Therapy and John's Crypto Therapy. For anybody who doesn't know, I was kind of like, John kind of took me under his wing a few years ago. Thought I said smart stuff in the comments and things like that, and he showed me a thing. John is the best trader that I know, like personally. He is unbelievable. If anybody says like he's not good on what he's talking about, or they don't know what they're talking about. He can go on a 1 minute, let you pick any asset, crypto or Forex, go on a 1 minute chart, let you pick anywhere in time, go back to, and run a 1 minute chart forward. And he'll come on out ahead every single time. He's a very good
still hold a lot of OMI?
I don't know. We haven't really thought about OMI lately. I mean, we speak sometimes, but he's busy. I'm busy. So I don't know. He's in the comments though.
Drop that comment, John. Let us know.
Yeah, he still makes videos. So
yeah. Pixel Trader has a good comment here about crypto moves on sentiment and narrative. And we all know that. So do you think that the price is driving the narrative right now of OMI, or flip it the other way? Narrative is driving the price.
Yeah. So, and I'm glad Pixel's my guy too. What's up, Pixel? I'm glad he brought that up about the narratives, because sometimes when I assess these crypto, like new ones, I'll look at token utility, but things generally will go up on the sentiment of the project. So some people have pointed out, well, no, OMI doesn't have much utility, but lots of projects don't. Yeah, I certainly get that. However, in kind of the sector, if you want to call it, that OMI's in, most of them do have utility. But so the narrative can still bring OMI up, but it's a lot of what ifs, and then things that I've heard from, like I said, I don't watch the AMAs, but it seems like a lot of the catalysts that like they're not about to. They're even saying it's not like they're about to happen or come out or anything.
Well, I think that a lot. So my perspective is the catalysts are still in the works. Well, it's taking forever. First off, right? I think that the Dave and Dan have struggled with their communication. There's like mixed messaging, right? Where they've walked back previous aspects of the token utility, right? No. So, and so the common theme, right? So they set expectations and then they don't talk about it because, you know, they don't want to talk about it because they're afraid of like pushback and blowback because they overhype things and then under-delivered. So now the new communication style is to not communicate much. So then a long time will go by and then they'll just drop a nugget in an interview saying something like, oh yeah, you know, we have to like rethink, OMI to land sales or whatever, selling land in VVverse. Mm-hmm. And then them saying that and contradicting something that was previously stated that people have expectations for makes people question everything. You know what I'm saying? But they, bronze tickets are still in the pipeline. OMI to NFT is still in the pipeline. So a lot of the utilities remaining the same, but their communication makes people question if anything is going to be the same. If that makes sense. Yeah,
for sure. Mm-hmm.
Right, what do you think, Jordan? You follow it very closely. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, so I'd say, Ron, I'm not sure if you know there's an event coming up in January. Have you heard of the Crypto XR event? It's in France, and David, you and Dan Krellers are both going to that event, and it's a crypto event. It's not an NFT event. It's not a VV event. It's a crypto event, and I had David Yu, the CEO, on my channel, and he told me that he's going to be talking about both meaning OMI and VV. And I think he just said both because he doesn't want to get people too excited. So potentially could be mostly about OMI. We don't know yet. This is speculation. But I've also heard from other people, like I talk to certain people like, Dr. Profit and other people sometimes that are quite close to the team. And so there's potential that there's going to be a lot more happening in January. And I think they're going to start off the new year the right way. I think we might get hopefully pleasantly surprised, which is what Mark said in the comments there. Shout out, Mark. And yeah, like we might get a whole bunch of stuff happening in January. And, if we don't get some good news by the halving, I think there's going to be some big pushback and I think, some people will just let go of OMI if we see nothing by the halving. So I'm hoping we get a lot more by then.
Well, yeah, and I think that speaks to Ron's point is that OMI's, potential is contingent on deliverables, right? And other tokens, though, not necessarily. They're riding a wave of momentum and narrative.
Yeah, and kind of my thesis, I guess, if I had to like break it down to one sentence with OMI, is they can't be disconnected to crypto and then think they're going to ride the back of a crypto bull run up, And they've been reluctant to jump on the Web3 thing. I'm not trying to make a debate about that, but it just hasn't happened. And this is a point I kept saying in the video: is it doesn't matter the reasons. It doesn't matter if it's regulatory or it's because they're in New Zealand or whatever the case. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and the market moves on, and it doesn't wait for anybody, and it's going to do what it's going to do. Because when the whole MTL thing, I had looked into that, and New Zealand had some of the strictest anti-money laundering laws in the world. So they actually did a pretty good job, probably, by getting it done in the time frame they did for the MTL with a country with such strict laws. But, it goes back to what I said, whether that has something to do with utility or interoperability or anything like that, it doesn't matter. It's not happening, and at the end of the day, you either got it done or you didn't, and they haven't got it done at this point. And, the train's leaving and they're still at the station. And I see like this comment here, only up 18,000% since 2019. I mean, that's kind of proving my point. It's already went up 18,000%. You think like it's had its big run up. So
should it be right? But when you look at the I guess the fundamentals of the project in terms of community, daily users, active, about to be an active metaverse with the VVverse, and you look at projects like Mana and Sand that don't really have too much traction or adoption.
Yeah,
but if those are valued in the billions again, then would you expect OMI to be comparable with them?
Well, I think they're bloated too. They were in my flop. Well, Sand wasn't, but Mana was in my flop 10. Yeah. So just because they're bad doesn't. So Chili's as well. So Chili's is almost like the most direct competitor. OMI. I mean, correct. I can think of offhand.
Isn't Chili's though like tokenization of like things like sports and things like that?
But it was NFT based. It was like an NFT that I don't think they have gaming. So, and that's another thing with OMI that's a negative. All these other sites, they're NFT gaming and stuff like that. Why can't they come out with a game? Like there was so much evidence to suggest they were going to come out with the Marvel Mighties game. Why can't they do these things? I don't know, because all these other company places, it's all these things are doing NFTs and gaming and stuff like that. I mean, they're sitting on the golden egg. I don't deny that, but
I think it might be coming. I think it might be coming because they said something. It was Dan or David said that once all this stuff comes out, you're going to know why there was a hold up. So it sounds like there's something coming that they had to hold back for some reason. And so, yeah, I don't know. Obviously it's a lot of speculation, and until something comes out, you're 100% right. But I have a feeling they're going to try and blow us away, and maybe that's delaying things more than it should. Maybe they should just release what they've got. You know what I mean? But maybe they're trying to get a whole bunch of things happening in a row so that it just blows everyone's mind. And we have that big narrative that we're talking about, good sentiment in the whole community.
When you look at it like this, they've been out one market cycle already, and then they're still promising these things. Like that should have, like you had a whole bear market to implement these things. And like I said, it doesn't really matter.
Well, have you built an app before? Because I've built apps. It's very difficult. Really difficult. We're developing apps and dealing with people, and it's not easy at all.
Yeah, doesn't matter. And to like VV, you said the point about like VV's active users. I brought that up, VV up against Mana and something else, saying like that VV had a lot more active users than some of those projects with bigger market caps. So I did bring that up. But then on the flip side, you look at something like Wazder, and I had been shilling Wazder on Twitter a lot, and it's went up tremendous, like 300%, because they had over 1 million app downloads as well. So then I was like, well, on the others, they had like $1 million market cap. It was all the way down to like $1 million market cap and 1 million app downloads. So that was wildly more attractive than OMI. And that just gets back to my point that there's just so many more attractive projects out there at this phase, in my opinion, than OMI.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree that it looks like we don't know what's happening with it. And yeah, the team's not very transparent. I see OG Vault here. Hey, buddy, you love to talk to me, hey? Very good. Thank you so much.
Is he bothering you again? OG Vault?
Oh, no, he doesn't bother me at all. I think he's a little bit of a clown.
Talking trash over here. Cut it out, OG. Be nice.
He just wants his logo. It's okay, buddy. You just have some JPEGs. It's all right.
Yeah. So give us a bull case, Ron, price-wise for OMI if they hit and everything goes well.
Man, they implement some. If they were able to implement the token in the app that you can buy, and sell the collectibles or NFTs with OMI and send OMI off. Yeah, and you could send OMI off the platform. And they came out with a game. They could absolutely take out the all-time high and keep going. I would have to get a calculator, look at that circulating supply and stuff like that. But
300 billion.
300 billion. Yeah, they could probably get to a good 3 cent if all those things happen.
Yeah.
The most bearish case I see is it not getting over 0.002. I think it at least get up there.
That would be terrible.
That would be the I think the worst case scenario.
I would actually be up in that case, and so would you, Danny.
Yeah. I would be, but it would be terrible. Like I would be up. So my cost basis is like under that, right? 0.015. Not terrible, but what would be terrible is the opportunity cost, which Slider just mentioned, right?
Cost, and also if you don't sell there, and then you're hoping it goes up higher, and then you end up holding it again, and it goes down.
Right now, because it's going to be hard to recognize that if that's like an ultra, let's say like the ultra bear scenario played out, and just they didn't execute anything and things didn't go up, because you have to take into account all scenarios. I'm been in this community making content forever, since 2 years, it feels like forever. But you have to be level-headed and anticipate all scenarios. We can't just anticipate that 5-cent scenario, 10-cent scenario, or people anticipating crazy ones like 30 cents or $1. You have to also consider worst case scenario. And for that, opportunity cost would be the biggest thing for me, because I could have allocated that cash into something else that could have done a 10x, 20x.
For sure. That's the heart of what I've been saying, is like the opportunity cost. I just wasn't, I guess, using that phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Opportunity cost is everything, right? So it depends. Like if you could literally take your money out of OMI, put it in a shit coin, like a meme coin, and it could do a 10x within a couple of weeks. But it also could go to zero. Whereas the safe thing about OMI is that it's not likely to go to zero. But it could go down from here. We hit 0.0055 a few times, 5.6, and I think that could end up being the low for this year. Who knows?
Yeah, I think the low's in. Yeah, I think the low's.
Yeah, I think the low's in too. But we were holding very strong at 0.008 for a while, and then it just started to come down again.
And by the way, Dan, I had a lot of requests on Twitter to go over like a technical analysis of the current state of the union with OMI during the stream. So just at some point, whenever.
Yeah, for sure. We'll throw that on. Mark talks about integration into Tengoku, which is a game coming out. I think more than anything, that exemplifies like small indie projects targeting the community, because the community is quite strong with OMI. And when I think about like paths forward for the token, one of them is members of the community becoming kind of like VV whales in the next crypto cycle, right? So when we talk about VV collectibles, if someone like Jordan, if his whole portfolio goes up multiples, right? Because he's not reliant strictly on OMI. He's got a whole bunch of alts. And he's a member of the community, and he takes some of that money and puts it into VV. He could become like a VV whale, right? And VV could benefit from a second NFT cycle. And then if VV grows and they integrate some utility, then you could see possibly OMI growing.
True, but if they want to ride an NFT cycle, they have to be connected to crypto, where Jordan would be able to, and maybe not Jordan specifically because he loves the project so much, but that somebody like Jordan that made gains off alts, they would need to be able to directly send, ETH or whatever to the platform. And when gem market was popping, you could. And that's why I've always said that the day that the biggest downfall of VV was the day the gem market stopped. Whether it was regulatory or not, it doesn't matter. It stopped. It disconnected it from crypto, and that's when the party was over, in my opinion.
So do you mean crypto in, like crypto into VV?
Yeah, because when the gem market, that's basically what you did, right? Like you could, on Telegram, it all happened, and you rolled your crypto, and you got the gems, and it was connected, and that's what made it go like that. Now, when the NFT run, if there's another one, which I think there will be.
I think there will be.
Yeah, I think there will be. If you can't roll crypto in there, then that's, and that's another thing with these big companies, that they're very short-sighted. I worked for a Fortune 100 company for a very long time, and they look at things from a different way. And I don't know this for a fact. This is my speculation. I would be willing to bet that Disney and Marvel prefer a little trickle of money through the drops, a revenue stream from that, than the bull market gains from the secondary market, like they were getting like that. They would probably rather have a nice, predictable, steady stream from the drops, and don't really care about that bull market craziness once every few years.
But they would that's to me would be short-sighted.
That's how those companies are. That's my point. That it is very short-sighted, but that's how those big corporations think. They would rather have that. Big corporations, they do stupid stuff all the time that make absolutely no sense, because they're just slugs, and they want to do things easy and predictable and all those things.
But to me, it's so easy to capitalize on this next run, right? Like, I mean, if you're in this space, if I'm Dave and Dan, I put tons of focus on OMI to pump VV bags. Then there's going to be arbitrage. If all the if all these OMI holders, their bags go up, there's going to be arbitrage into VV and into their real world revenue stream.
If you can connect it, I don't think people are going to want
to. It's disconnected.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think a little bit, but I don't think that people are really going to be cashing crypto profits out, sending the money to their bank account, and then putting the money on View.
But even connecting it through, even just through OMI to NFT, that one.
No, as long as it's OMI to NFT,
right.
Then that would be good, because then there has to be a way to send at least OMI up there. That would be good enough, probably.
Yeah.
I did see that in the comments there. Someone said OMI to NFT will be the biggest catalyst. And he said, Jordan changed my mind. I don't know. I don't want to change anyone's mind. I think maybe that would be really good, OMI to NFT. I would actually put some OMI in the app just to buy some of the NFTs, because I don't want to spend my cash. And it's weird how sometimes with crypto, it feels like it's not cash, even though originally was money we put in, right?
Yeah, it gives you a different feeling.
Psychologically,
it's different.
So maybe that would be a really awesome catalyst. And also that burns, right? We burn a percentage of that as it comes in. There's a fee attached that burns it.
Yeah, and I hope all these things do happen. I hope that VV does good. I hope OMI comes back. My decision to go away from OMI, even if OMI just say the most bullish case for OMI went up to like 5 cents or something like that. My decision to diversify they've already panned out. I'm up multiple 100% on portfolio balances and wallet balances since the beginning of the year. I mean, I said 15K Bitcoin. This is it. Back the truck up.
Did you take a loss selling your OMI or?
It's hard to say. I went 60 days straight trading OMI with 0 losses. And that sounds crazy, but Danny can confirm that.
I used to dabble in trading, and I had like 20, 30 trades in a row, all positive. And then I of course went all in, and I lost.
That's what I always say. Yeah. And that's why when I say that, people are like, well, you should be a bajillionaire. You never look. No, it doesn't, because the one time you do that, that's the time you lose. But I was trading it every single day. And this was from mid-January 2022 to mid-November 2022 to mid-January 2023. Like when people would say it was impossible to trade OMI. That's kind of why I did it. Me and Sona were trading a lot. And I don't know, it was just kind of like a challenge, because people were saying you couldn't trade it. So the point where I said that, I have done very, very well trading OMI. And I said this in the video, when it was about to break 0050, like into the bull market or whatever, I knew, I had a screenshot proof saying that it was coming, but because I did love the project, I didn't sell as much as I should. And even though I bought some at 0.0002, and then when it broke that, I wasn't really paying much attention to it at the time. My mind was in other areas, and I was kind of saying, well, some people say, well, I'm kind of an investor on OMI, so it'll come back and stuff like that. And I did hold some like through the bear market and stuff. So it's kind of hard for me to say up or down. I would have to imagine that I'm up on it from all the trading that I've done. And it wasn't like I never bought any above like 0.003.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm probably up overall. I'm not hurt by it for sure, but that's kind of my OMI story.
Somewhat of a wash. Yeah, that makes sense.
Did either of you guys see Superstar Money's OMI burn and price prediction video?
I saw he did a video. No, I haven't seen it. Did you see it?
I saw parts of it. Yeah, I saw that they were calculating how much OMI you would need to burn to reach crazy figures, right? That people have speculated on, and those numbers are ridiculous. Like, when you talk about, they'd really have to burn like 90% of supply to get into that, over $1, and what people talk about as being like, especially in the early days, people talked about those numbers, multi-dollar.
Yeah, I mean that would be really good sentiment, right? If we I think that's what we're missing right now, is we need OMI to start burning. When OMI's burning, that's actually a proper narrative. We can say, oh, look, you buy this token and we're burning it, and it's got this app that's attached to it, and whenever you buy these NFTs in it, it starts to burn OMI, or whatever way it is. That will really help with the whole narrative, since we're saying that's one of the most important things for the bull run.
I want to get into some of your. Go ahead.
I just say more exchanges, bronze tickets, burning, OMI to NFT. Then I can't see us going wrong after that. So
yeah, there's definitely. I mean, look, the setup is still there. I think that it does have a ton of potential. The setup is still there. They have a lot of things going for them. They also have some red flags, right? Things that have been holding them back. I do agree with Ron that diversity, I think it will be outperformed by other coins. It's a matter of which,
Myria. I think
Myria, a bunch of them are gonna, right. And there is opportunity cost if you're over invested in one altcoin. I think it's important when you're in altcoins to spread out over a number of them, because their altcoins.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you said that, Danny. It made me a point I wanted to bring up. When I hear all these people on Twitter saying I'm a long-term investor of OMI, there's only one crypto you should ever say that about.
Yeah.
And that's Bitcoin. That's the only, and you can maybe make an argument for ETH. But at this point, that's the only crypto you should be saying that about. Your mindset should be, I'm not holding this until the bear market.
Yeah, you got to play the cycles. This isn't the stock market, right?
Yeah, at this point in crypto, anyway, that's
years.
At this point in crypto, that's what we're seeing, and that's what trading's about, and that's who runs the market is traders. So if something keeps happening, traders are going to keep doing it until it doesn't. And that's why the market stays in trading range. They want it to be in a trade. That's why it's called a trading range. They sell the highs and buy the lows, and it stays in that range, and eventually it breaks out and goes one way or the other. But
yeah, Mark wants to know, Ron, what would make you, what would be an indicator to make you get back, or or not get back, but flip positive?
Would it?
Yeah. So I was asked this on a Spaces with O'Malley, and I don't think that anything could really happen to make me probably buy back into the project at this point. But I don't deny the catalysts that are there, and I hope they come. I promise. I hope they come. I hope the gaming happens. I still got a big VV account, so I'm still in for that. I'll be honest with you. I still consider myself a part of the community. I mean, who else do I know on Twitter and stuff like that? So I only know
my Twitter's all the OMI homies and VV.
I only know people in OMI and VV for the most part. Some people know me from Bitcoin trading and stuff, but there's a lot of people out there calling Bitcoin. So I consider
what level is your VV account?
The master collectors, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I got some big. I'm more. I never like MC people. I don't never care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, same. But I'm level 37 now, and I just hit master collector recently.
Yeah. I think I'm like 35 or something like that. But I like the items I have. I'll say that. Even with VV items, I analyze it just like I would altcoins, more or less, with supply and all those.
Oh, so you're buying them for investing as well as for fun?
I haven't bought VV in a long time.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll be honest with you.
You buy what you like, right? You buy what you like. You don't just buy anything.
No, I don't care what I like. I care what I think will get the best return.
Oh, is return. Okay, yeah.
But I'll be honest, I've never cashed $1 out of VV, and I sold my account at the top at 2022, and Danny knows that as well. But you couldn't cash out the money then. I kept the gem stack, and I honestly just DCA'd all the way down. But I was an early user at OMI. I got some good drops. I got a partners. I got some SR comics. Me and my friend Eric, we used to be really into the drops. We got 39 comics in one drop without using bots. Just
nice.
Me and him.
Yeah. I remember when it was really hard to get drops when it was like, packed with bots and stuff. And I remember staying up. For me, I'm in Australia. I had to stay up to like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. to do the drops. It was it was a full-on event. Was that Danny?
I was asking Ron, what are his key pieces in VV that he holds?
I have a lot of MC1 uncommons. I got some Superman, some Todds. A lot of R2D2s, the gold moments one. I haven't even looked at my account in months, to be quite honest with you. I have a lot of Bucky Barnes. I think that he's a great item for ROI, at least last time I looked, because I remember the last run, that's what I had the biggest. It was like I looked, it was like I had bought him for $4 and sold him for like 400 and something. So that was a huge ROI on that little guy. But I also kind of thought the Mighties would be using in gaming, so I kind of favored them for that as well.
Yeah, well, there might be a game somewhere.
But
I think that was a lot of speculation that people had on the Mighties. I never really anticipated it.
Remember we couldn't burn them, Danny? We couldn't burn the Mighties. You're not allowed to burn the Mighties. There must be a reason behind that, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, in the comments, so I'm not connected or I can't comment, but somebody asked if I was into Caspa, and please go check out my top 10 large cap alt videos. Caspa's #1.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Caspa's over $1 billion market cap now, huh?
Well, I have it in my large cap.
Yeah, right. No, I'm saying, but it got over that.
Yeah, I definitely don't consider it a small cap for sure.
It's on my watch list also. It's one of the ones for me. Like I'm filling my bags on certain small alts like Mask. I want a certain amount of Mask, certain amount of Rio, certain amount of games for a living, and then I'm gonna get into my other projects. Caspa's one of them.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely diversification seems to be the right way to go. I definitely, I went all in on Tesla stock and I did extremely well with that. And I went all in on Bitcoin. I did well with that. And I went all in on OMI. And if I'd sold at the top of 008, I would have made over $1 million on that. So I could have done well with OMI. I just didn't cash it out.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson of that, right? If it's over $1 million and you've got a lot of profit, you should probably take it.
Yeah,
at least.
sure.
What's your game plan, Jordan, this next cycle in terms of OMI and your other stuff?
I'll just cash everything out as it goes up. I'll cash out smaller percentages as it goes up. And if it starts to come down, I'll cash out a little bit. And if it's, if it gets close to break even and I've still got some left, I'll just cash it out. And I can, if it's a loss or win, whatever, I can still claim that. And it should overall cash out at hopefully a few $1 million in the next run. I asked Crypto Rain what he thinks he's gonna do, and it was a much bigger number than mine. So it's exciting. Ron, what do you plan? Do you have any predictions of what you could cash out for the whole overall run?
Nah, I mean, probably a lot. I mean, I've been plugged into this crypto space. I never left. A lot of guys I trade with, bear market came along, they went and traded Forex and stuff like that. I never left. Danny will tell you I've grinded this whole entire off market.
The bear market's been hard, right? The bear market's been pretty rough.
Well, I played it right. I kept the right mindset. I've hit every major swing for Bitcoin. I bought alt bottoms. I kept my eyes open and ears to the ground for good projects coming out. So I've positioned myself well for the bull run, assuming that we keep going and everything.
And so are you doing a lot of small trades now? Are you going to hold until they get to sort of closer to peak?
Well, everything's in a trend. So, people are so used to, I always say retail's a leg late. Like they're always like, what was just happening? So this is a trend. This is trending price action. If you don't obsess about catching the top and just ride the trend, and then once the candles tell you the trend's over, then make a decision if you want to get out. But most people obsess about buying the top. So then when it goes up to a certain price, they didn't sell there. And then they're like, well, I'll sell it back when it gets to that price. Doesn't get there. And that's how they end up holding through the whole bear market, because they feel like the opportunity cost is, they should have, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's literally what I did with OMI. I literally saw it going, because I hit $1.2 million. I saw it going down like every week was going down like $100,000. So I had like ages to cash out even a little bit. And
it's hard when you think that the Bitcoin's going to 100,000 and you're convinced that, right?
And it might have. You guys saw FTX, right? They said that they literally manipulated Bitcoin price down. And
I didn't see that.
FTX
That was in the trial?
I think that was later. Like that was after everything kind of broke 30,000 and went down, I think. But I know what he's talking about. They did say that.
Yeah, it's wild. Do you want to show your chart, Ron? You want to do some TA on them?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Get this right. I had some trouble sharing my screen on a live stream one time with you, Danny. So let me know if something's not.
I'll be watching now. Last time you were narrating. You thought you were narrating the screen.
That happened one time. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now you're a pro. Here we go. I'm gonna add it. You're good. You're on.
Okay, you guys see my chart and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the first time I looked at that OMI since we've been on the stream, obviously. So I have this line right here. Okay, well, let me back up a little bit. So, matter of fact, I'm gonna go out to the weekly. And by the way, anybody who's watched any of my videos, I finally got a microphone, so hopefully the sound will be.
Let's go. Sounds crisp.
Sounds good.
Be a lot better.
Damn,
right, so I thought it was definitely looking like an inverse head and shoulders, like right around here. But I told people this is a great place to get in sometimes on moves, like when you're trying to time the right shoulder of a head and shoulders, whether it's short or long. But with anything in trading, the better position you get, the less probability that you'll hit that trade. That doesn't mean you will. It just means like if you have a great risk reward, then the probability is lower that it'll go through. So, but it did look like it was going to form a head and shoulders, but it just didn't happen, And I had posted on Twitter. Let me go back to the daily now.
That was because we were waiting for catalysts that just didn't hit. Right? We're waiting for bronze tickets.
And it was after this close here. I posted on Twitter, not looking good for OMI, fam. I mean, when you see this big bear bar closing basically on its low, below structure, that after a failed kind of push up like that, that the writing's kind of on the wall that we're going to go down. And I've seen this with OMI a lot. Like it's just tight channels down. So
do you think that's due to the lopsided token allocation with certain people holding billions of tokens and just sell on pumps?
I don't think OMI, like people always say OMI manipulation.
Maybe not manipulated, but heavy sell pressure.
Yeah, there's definitely sell pressure. But I don't even, I just look at it as technical analysis. You get a bar like this closing below structure, what's going to catch it? Okay, this gap right here, right, like that wick. That's what I look at a lot, like where wicks are to the left, and what's going to catch it over here. And I said that I thought it was likely that we're going to go down here to around 6058. And then a few days ago, John made a video, and I watched it, and he said that he can tell buyers are coming in the market. And I saw what he was talking about. Like you draw this straight line here, and I see this with OMI a lot. Like it's like a line in the sand. And even earlier today, this was a wick up. So this was what I posted on Twitter. I thought when John made that video, I put that out there and said, John's definitely better than me. Sees buyers coming in. I watched it, and I agree with him. I saw there was 4 wick rejections on the daily, including today. So then I remember when I checked this a little bit before the live stream, and the candle was down here. So if it had closed down here, then I'm thinking, yes, we will probably go in this zone. But look, this isn't an accident, guys. You see what the body of that candle is? Mm-hmm. It's still right at that line. Like I didn't just draw this line up here. So if we close right here, OMI, I think, is making a bottom, because this is how OMI makes a bottom, because I've watched it for so long. It doesn't have, I'm sure you can go find some examples, but it doesn't have like these long wick pin bars or like a bullish engulfing the other way. When it makes a bottom, it usually just stops and then ranges and forms just like a rangy bottom, and then eventually we'll break out of it. So I think OMI is trying to form a bottom now. Watch this daily close. This hour right here. This is important for OMI. If it closes below this, then we may continue to go down here. And I like to make a point that me and John, we look at different charts, and he looks at OKX and I look at Gate.io, because when I had it on Bit4X, Gate.io seemed to be the most closely related. If you're looking at Bitcoin, that really matters. It'd be close enough on different exchanges. But with OMI, it can paint a different picture sometimes. So him and I may come to different conclusions from looking at different charts sometimes. But I agree with him. I saw the buyer. He's right. The buyers are coming in there. So it's finding support. If we keep this close above this line, I don't know what the OKX chart looks like, but at the chart I'm looking at, then I like it for trying to make a bottom as of right now if we keep this close here. Now, if you get a close below this, probably going to go down there a little bit more.
Was that 0005 range or?
58, 60, 60 to 58, somewhere in that range. I don't, unless there's like some kind of massive FUD event, I don't see us revisiting this zone again. I think the bottom is in for it, though. I do think that.
That'd be good
at this time, with everything I'm seeing right now, I think that.
Yeah.
So I think one of the reasons it didn't, it had formed that head and shoulders and then didn't continue, was there was a whale that had like 2 billion OMI that was selling off. So that sort of pressure, selling pressure, is pretty intense.
You said 2 billion?
2 billion, yeah.
Well, so if you take a calculator and look at how much 2 million, that's like $1 million of OMI, like roughly, like a little over $1 million. Yeah. I'm not saying that's not nothing, but when you look at like $180 million market cap or something like it was, well, so if you're talking when it was 0.008, it was probably over 200 million. I mean, that's like 0.5% of the.
Yeah, but the daily volume is really low, right? It's like 600,000.
Still got to be a buyer though. If you're selling it, still got to be a buyer.
Yeah, but if it's $600,000 daily volume, about 300, it's about 300 because it was just sitting around 0008, not moving much. But then someone comes and starts dumping 2 billion worth. Obviously, that makes the buy sell go very heavy on the sell side.
Yeah, other people jump on. Yeah, I mean that's a fair point.
But yeah, it looks like they do have. I saw that line in the sand. Like it just pops straight up. It's almost like they've got a bot buying at a certain amount so that someone's holding the line. You think that's
it's bots.
Yeah,
it's bots. When you get like a line in the sand like that, at least that's what I've been schooled on. That
it seems like that. So that's interesting. That's really interesting.
But that was actually how I traded OMI so well, because it did make like a line in the sand. So I just bracketed limit orders on both sides of it when it was in a range, and then I zoomed out on higher time frames when I thought it was hitting some kind of swing and traded that on higher time frames. And then a daily price action, I I pretty much just bracketed limit orders on both sides with that line in the sand wasn't just bounce back and forth and get like 3 to 5% constantly.
So you didn't use bots though? You put those orders all in manually?
Yeah, it's time consuming.
Have you ever used bots before for trading?
No, I like to get into it sometime, but at this point in my trading career, I haven't gotten into bots.
Yeah, I was thinking about it as well. It's a pretty cool idea, and they can work for sure. But yeah, if you make the mistake, your bot can lose money.
Yeah, bots are great because bots don't have any emotion. So if you have a strategy that works, so you can program into a bot. I mean, the bot just wins 60% of the time. You do great, and you don't have any emotional baggage. You're just looking at a spreadsheet of what the bot did, So it's definitely the way to go. I'll get into it eventually.
That's a good idea. Good plan.
N1's question here, Kenobi's question. What are you guys looking to get out of this next cycle? What are your goals in terms of life?
So I want to buy a 2-acre food forest. Well, I want to buy a 2-acre property. We're going to build a food forest on it. And so I've got a wife and 2 kids, and we have a nice little 3-bedroom house right now of a small block, relatively small compared to what we want. But we've got a little garden going, like 100 square meter garden. I don't know if you guys know that size. I'm probably talking metric, right? Not imperial. But we've got like 15, 20 fruit trees and a whole bunch of little raspberry plants, and we've got a lot of stuff here. It's like a mini food forest. It's like on a small scale. We want to scale that up, so we need more land for that. We actually don't mind our house. If we had our house and we could just move it and plop it on some land, I'd be sick. But yeah, can't really do that with our house. That's the biggest thing for me, and I'll get my Tesla Roadster after the house. So I've got a Tesla Model 3 Performance, which does 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds. This will do it in less than 2 seconds because it's insane. And then anything after that, I'll be keeping us cash for next bull run. That's my plan.
Ron, how about you? What are your goals?
I don't look at it like that. That's not where my head's at. I'm not dancing on my way to the end zone. I'm not even at the 50-yard line yet. I position myself extremely well, but I'm not cashing out. I haven't cashed out shit yet. So my head's in the game more than ever. I don't have any preconceived notions of what's going to happen. There's people out there still calling for 10K. I don't see it, but I respect everyone's opinion. And I know that in this market, anything can happen. And I don't have any preconceived notions or like planning on what I'm going to do. Now I'm not.
Dude, that's a good mindset, because I do get ahead of myself sometimes in terms of my goals and what I want. And I find myself just thinking too much on it.
Like I said, I'm not dancing on my way into the end zone, and I bagged up 15, sold it at 25, caught it back at 19. But I've rode every swing, I'm not lying about it. And so Bitcoin could go back to 10K, I'd still be way up. But
do you have any responsibilities? Like, do you have any kids or wife or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 31 Marion's asking about the $2 billion OMI. Well, I know Hodler made a video. Maybe Hodler can.
Yeah, you can look up, like, if you know how to look at the IMX blockchain, you can look at so is it on Ethereum blockchain? You can look at the transactions.
You can check the wallet, But Hodler made a video about it. Go check that out.
There you go. Patient Hodler. Woo!
Yeah, Hodler's great. Expectations next cycle. Are we looking at a perfect storm in terms of the halving, rate decreases, ETF approval? What do you guys think?
What I think is this isn't anything technical. This is just kind of the psychological part of the game. So right now it's trending price action on higher time frames. And that's why I'm not selling anything. Once I see it not trending and maybe selling a trading range, then maybe I'll sell something. I don't know. But it's trending. And here's what I can see happening. Like the whole ETF stuff materialize and Bitcoin goes up to like 48K or something like that. It hasn't spent a lot of time in the 40s. So if it hits 40, don't expect it to stay there long. Expect it to go up to 40K or 48K, or maybe get rejected and go back down. But maybe the ETF news and that goes through and we get up to 48K and the halving hasn't happened yet. And then people are saying, oh man, we're at 48K. Halving hasn't even happened yet. People are like full on clamoring, water at their mouth, bull mode, cashing out 401k money, all those kinds of things. Because the halving hasn't come yet. And then the halving comes and nothing really happens and it becomes kind of like a sell the news event. Because last time it didn't pump right at the halving. It took a little bit of time. And then maybe we trend down a little bit and then get a pullback, possibly even like where we're at now or something. And then, maybe the party keeps going. And that is just so like just my maybe what if, because I think we will get a pullback sometimes. And people are like waiting for that pullback. They're like, I want that pullback. I want that pullback. Danny, what did I say yesterday on Telegram? I said the liquidity is actually the DGN shorts are what's out there. And they're at 37.5. Where's price at right now?
Yeah.
And what was everybody else saying? They're like, oh, we're going down. This is it. See, you suckers. and I even had a line drawn on the chart, just like the OMI chart. And where did price go? Right down to and touch. And I said, watch the daily close. I said, I think it might get bought up into the daily close. And if it closes above its midpoint, then bears are probably in trouble. When everyone else saying down, down, down. And that's exactly what unfolded.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
yeah, I think the spot ETFs will be very interesting if we've got 4 days left, right? They might launch them this week.
That's like, yeah. So there's like an approval where it could get approved now, and then like the real date is January 10th.
That's really the last cutoff, because if they approve it for one, they're going to approve it for all, and that's ARK Invest's last date.
It was was that Jan 10th or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, January 9th or 10th, I think. Because the BlackRock one isn't until the middle. Like they're all middle of March except for ARK Invest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have to do it at that time. So it's either in the next week or
I would say or January, because it's going to be all or nothing. You can't say no to ARK and then say yes to the other 9 in April.
So you know what? That might work out really well, that crypto XR event for OMI. If Bitcoin starts heating up and then we get some really good positive news for OMI, that could be really good for us.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that they deliver on the we see that the community is strong and they want, like Ron said, he wants them to succeed. And I do think that they could do well if they hit their catalyst. Now it's a matter of execution.
For sure. Yeah.
Let's talk alts, favorites for next cycle.
I'll get my list out.
So anybody check out that video I made. I would drop in the comments, but like I said, I'm not logged on, but it was the top 15 low cap alts I like for this cycle and 5 honorable mention. And I'd still pretty much stick to that. I love Mask, and I already talked about that. If any of you guys want to check out more info, I'll have the founder on next week. So tune into that. We'll be doing the giveaways as well. Then I love Playable Games. The token's called, they pronounce it the Bull token, but it's spelled 3. Yeah, with a 3 instead of a B. So that is just massive, massive potential. The market cap's still really low.
What is it at? They at 10 now or 10 million?
I think it's at 12.
Yeah, we saw them. I saw you were talking about them when they were 1 or 2 million.
Yeah. So from the gaming sector, I love Playable Games, Games for a Living, and Nakamoto Games. Those would be my top 3. If you want one that
what were the top 3? Sorry, you said Bull, you said Nakamoto, and
Games for a Living.
Yeah.
And if
you said Games for a Living is up a lot for you, but is that still a low market cap?
I think they're at 30.
It's like 30 million now.
30 million.
I'm about 300% on Games for a Living.
What I like about them, of the 3, that's the one that I like most, just based off narrative and the fact that their founder is the guy from King Barcelona that created Candy Crush, and their vice president is the founder of EA Sports, which is sick. And I think once you hit a proper bull run with that gaming sector hot, and they have some games already out with those people at the helm, and their tokens are locked up for years.
Yeah, the token, like when you somehow has a low circulating supply, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not good. You want to read it in the white paper. And Games for a Living, I'm fine on that one. I'm fine on Rio's low circulating supply, and I'm fine on Playable Games low circulating supply. Playable Games out of the 3, I think probably has, at this point right now, probably has the best chance to give you the best ROI out of those 3. But Nakamoto Games, do not fade it. That thing could get in the billions market cap. It is a crazy.
I do Nakamoto Games, like the Japanese company.
The crypt, like Naka. Yeah, they're
Naka, Naka, not like Satoshi Nakamoto.
Not the Japanese company, gaming company, Nakamoto Games.
I think it just sounds Japanese because they're named after Satoshi.
Yeah, I think so. I think the name, that's what I took out of it.
It's a gaming ecosystem.
Okay.
But there's
one crypto-based gaming play-to-earn ecosystem.
A gaming project that hasn't had the run-up as some of the other ones, but has great fundamentals. It's called Metacade, MCade. So if you're looking for one that maybe hasn't had that second. It had the initial pump up, like it's not just weak flatline, but it didn't kind of get that second leg and keep trending up. So that's one that I like. Then from Rio, I like Rio a lot. Miria, I like Miria from the gaming sector. I would put that fourth, and then Mask. The thing about Mask, low market cap, almost all circulating supply. It came out like towards the end of the last bull market, but it made a new all-time high in the bear market. It shows incredible strength in the bear market, but not like it moved.
Spicy.
Yeah, and it's a real product. Like you can download it and use it right now. It's a privacy browser. So like if you lived in China or Russia and you were dealing with government censorship through the internet, then you could download the Mask browser, and it's more secure than Tor or a VPN. And
what does the tokens give you? Can you get like a premium service in the browser? What does it?
Yeah, it unlocks features. Yeah, features in the browser.
You can't do this right now, but you'll be able to earn Mask as they implement the mainnet.
And, that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So basically, what you're saying is the mainnet hasn't launched yet either.
Yeah, but you can use it's functional. Like you can use the browser. I've done YouTube videos on it, and it's specifically made for Web3 use. And I put you guys on to some alpha because I'm in all the chats and everything. I mean, obviously I know the founder. And this is something we're going to talk about on the stream. I'm going to ask him about it. I haven't talked to him about it personally, but I've seen it in the chats. It was asked, could Mask do the same thing as Ator? And Ator is one of these projects that has just went parabolic. I was in on that too.
Chicken Genius been pumping that. Chicken Genius Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know him?
So say again.
You know Chicken Genius? Anyway, he's a big YouTuber, huge Tesla bull. He made a lot of money. He's been pumping Ator. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, have you heard of EJS? Oh, sorry.
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
Danny's question. Sorry. So what was that, Danny?
No, go ahead. Continue, Ron. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
So this is the last thing I say about Mask. Like when I said I'll give you guys some alpha that I see in chats and stuff, people ask, could Mask do the same thing as Ator? And what Ator does is you have to like get hardware, and it routes your Wi-Fi traffic through Tor. So like everything at your house is whatever. And a dev on Mask said, yes, we could do the same thing using the Mask network, which is more secure than VPN or Tor.
Yeah, that is awesome. That sounds good.
And I want to say that Mask is now at a 14 million around market cap. And what I like about them also, one of the things that drew me to them was 95% in circulating supply.
Yeah, it's basically all on search supply.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I love high supply. Like it's mostly out.
For a new token on its first run to see 95% out, they didn't do an ICO. I like that also. Yeah. And they are about the product first. So they're not on any real exchanges.
They're on ProBit Global. So I can tell you they said on the roadmap that they are going to get on a bigger exchange, but that they're focusing on the product now and everything.
Yeah.
But will they be there for the bull run? Just joking. But yeah, that's one of the reasons that OMI drew me in as well, is 100% supply already being out. Well, actually at the time it wasn't, but it is now. Now it's 100% OMI supply out. So have you heard of EJS, Ron?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
Engine starter. So you know that you probably would have heard of the engine token or engine coin.
I had it as number 7 on my top large cap alts. 7 or 8. I had
okay, cool. Yeah. So they have an engine. They have like a ICO startup app called Engine Starter. So it's like a baby token of theirs, or like a son token or whatever you want to call it. So it's sort of is connected to it. So when Engine Coin pumps, it seems to pump a little bit, but it's only like a 3-4 million market cap. It's tiny. So EJS is something that has done really, really well for me so far, and I think people should look into it just because it's still a baby.
I see a lot of people in the comments asking about Mask, and it is on ETH, but I always get it on Polygon. I mean, why pay the extra gas? So I normally get it on QuickSwap. You can also get it on Balancer. And Medicaid, yes, it's a gaming token. Just go to their website and check them out. They have a new partnership like every day. The founder, he's real dedicated. They're a good project. I'm surprised it hasn't pumped yet.
Yeah, I made the mistake of swapping Mask today on the Ethereum network, paying $20 in gas fees, man.
ETH gas fees are like the bane of my existence. I won't pay them. I hate them.
It sucks.
that is a problem, like with alts on Ethereum network, right? Is you have to pay so much to cash them out.
Always check to see if it's on Polygon.
That's why it's almost worth having a large amount of it, so that because during the bull run, you guys know it's not going to be a $20 fee. It's probably going to be $200 to cash it out. because of
And
the
somebody in the
Ethereum fee.
comments, no, it doesn't block. You can use MetaMask with Mask. It's made specifically for Web3 use. Like it is like tailor made for Web3 use.
Yeah, I should probably get my mask off the ETH network and get it onto Matic. I have like some on Matic, and but the majority of it I think is on ETH. I should do it now before,
Yeah.
gas fees get really out of hand.
So, how do you use Matic? Do you use that in MetaMask as well?
There's a mainnet for Matic, yeah.
MetaMask or Trust, yeah.
Yeah.
So then you have to change the network at the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played with much. I mostly just keep mine on Ethereum chain. Cool.
Yeah, I always check to see if something's on Polygon or if it's on Ethereum. I hate gas fees. Some people like, me and I Help Society, we're friends, and like he doesn't care about ETH gas fees at all. He's just like, oh, okay, that's part of playing the game.
Will it change the slippage or anything like that? Is there any downside of using Matic and other things?
Sometimes you get a better value. Like sometimes you put like $100 or something like a Matic and get like $102 a mask. Like those things happen sometimes.
Okay, it's interesting. Cool. I might need to look into this because I've been paying the Ethereum fees, but right now it's not much. It's a few bucks.
But even today it's $17.50.
Yeah,
I remember paying like $200 or $300 for one gas fee during the Axie Infinity craziness. If you guys
anything over like $2.50 pisses me off. I'm cheap when it comes to gas fees.
Right?
I don't mind a few bucks.
It depends if your dollar cost average and you're grabbing $100. That's really annoying, right? But if I'm grabbing $2,000 or $3,000, then $20 seems not too bad.
Yeah.
So it's relative, I guess.
Definitely a gas fee stickler.
Yeah, but if I'm doing $100 and $20 fees, that's like 20% of what I put in is just taken by fees.
Hodler got a question. Do you guys believe that we get a pullback before we breach 38K?
Right now, I mean, this I'm a price action trader. I don't look at indicators really. I read the candles, and this is, it was I look at the weekly for the direction, and it was in a range. It broke out with a big bullish candle closing on its high, and then it followed with another big bullish candle closing on its high. That's a breakout. That's trending. So I mean, anything can always happen, but when it trends like that, traders are going to buy pullbacks when it pulls back. So the best bears can probably really hope for is that it settles into some kind of range or channel up where they're at least getting bear bars in there. Yesterday was the day before that was the first bear bar for Bitcoin closing on its low since October 4th. It's gonna take a while. I mean, markets have inertia. Like it's like turning a cruise ship around or something. Retail always looking for a V-shaped reversal. They always want to catch the top of everything. They think everything's going to have a V-shaped reversal, and V-shaped reversals are actually rare. So I think that it's probably more up, based off the price action I'm seeing. When you start to see a red candle on the weekly closing on its low, then maybe you're thinking about a pullback.
So are you saying that you think Bitcoin's still going to go up to 40 before it comes back down? Something like that.
Well, I mean, the price act, like I said, those two big bull bars closing on their high, breaking out of a range. I mean, what more could tell you it's trending up? I don't know.
So you think Sol's going to $80?
Yeah,
Sol's on a tear, man.
No,
it's crazy, man.
I put that on Twitter 2 weeks ago. I said Sol wants $80. Sol's on
Sol wants 80, and Sol's going to.
I just need Sol to double again, and it's actually going to equal my OMI bag.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and I didn't put that much into it. Like it's already up 120% for me.
We're gonna start around the Solanaverse.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually doing a live stream with a paid Solana influencer this weekend. It'll be the first live stream I do. So you can talk about Solana NFTs and other. So I got some alpha on a spin-off Solana coin. It's called Solana Cash. Me and Eric have been into it. Eric was on the pre-sale for it a long time ago, and it hasn't been listed anywhere, and it's about to get listed December 7th. Just today, they opened up where you could buy it on some kind of DEX called Gem app or something like that.
Solana Cash. Cool.
So there's two. There's a Sol Cash and Solana Cash. You want to look at the Solana Cash, and it's called like Gem app. I would drop the link in the comments if I could. It's like you can't even get the market cap data, but all it has is the pre-sale. So if you weren't in on the pre-sale, you couldn't have got it yet. So I think that's one, and it just like today came to where you could buy it, and then it's going to get listed on a bigger DEX and Central Exchange on I think December 7th.
What do we think? So Sol here hates Solana, right? Because he's a big tech guy, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Big ADA guy,
Cardano guy.
Yeah, and I respect that.
Solana,
Says that
from a technical standpoint, isn't that good. It's not that good. But it's
Yeah,
just
I agree.
like, price keeps going up all the time. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. And that's what I've said all along. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. It matters what the market thinks. And in the off market, there was or at least a day where Solana had more NFT volume than Ethereum. Right. Like if there was a blockchain that was going to make a run and build an ecosystem, to me, it was obviously going to be Solana, not because I think the tech is great or anything like that, but it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the market thinks.
Yep.
I agree, and that's why that was also my biggest alt bag was Solana. Go ahead, Jordan. Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. Danny and I actually have a very similar portfolio for like our top 5. It's almost it's identical, but they're probably moving places a bit. Danny, did you say Solana's your number 1 now as well?
Yeah, Solana grew into my biggest bag. Yeah,
it was my 4th. It's my 4th, and now it's my 2nd, and it might be my 1st soon. But I was gonna say Cardano has the technology behind it. I really believe in Cardano, ADA. I think that's going to do really, really well long term. I don't think it's going to have the gains that Solana has, though. I don't think it's going to make those gains. Not as much. It'll go up, but it's just crazy what Solana does with inferior tech, but a bigger community, bigger narrative, it seems. Yeah, what do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's like what Ron said. Sometimes the best tech doesn't, win. It's about the community and people flocking to it, and what people and institutions also, I think, are piling into Solana. It's kind of like a VC darling.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I do have to go, Danny. About 6:30, I got another obligation.
Yeah, we can wrap up. Final thoughts here, guys. It was a good hour and a half. This is a good chat we had.
Yeah, I think everyone should just keep dollar cost averaging into what they think they believe in, not financial advice. Yeah, I had heaps of fun chatting today. I think Ron's an awesome guest. He brings a different perspective from most of the OMI homies, most of VV fam. They're probably more connected to OMI and to the VV app only, whereas it's good to have an outside perspective. Yeah, so thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah. Ron, tell us about your interviews coming up and your YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I put the link to my YouTube channel in the comments on my phone. I don't know if it came up or whatever. But yeah, I'm doing the Solana live stream with a paid Solana influencer I know over the weekend. And then next week I'm doing the Mask founder. And I'm coming out with my next video that I'm trying to make now is like how to not be lost in the market, like how to have some kind of like, semblance, like understand kind of what's going on. So you're not just like, oh, I don't, what's happening. I don't know. So I'm gonna try to do that very soon, and I appreciate the kind words, Jordan. It was really a pleasure being up here with you as well, and I think you had some good takes. I don't think you're some kind of delusional moon boy or anything like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think a lot of the people in the community have liked me pretty good since the video, because I am they do feel I'm being unbiased and objective, and I'm not being a moon boy or a fudder. I'm really giving an honest assessment, just like I would any other project.
And it's important to get that. We put ourselves in echo chambers and on purpose, right? Because we like that confirmation bias, and we want people to just reinforce.
That's another confirmation bias. You're right, Danny. That's another concept. Yeah.
So I love hearing different perspectives, and Soul has been going at me lately on Twitter saying I'm not objective. I'm very objective, Soul. And I like listening to different perspectives and anticipating all outcomes. So as always, I want to thank you guys for jumping on. Jordan, it's always a pleasure. Ron, another great stream. Follow these guys, and catch you all in the next one. Peace.
Woo!
Later.
See you guys.